So, Brendan, you asked a question about, right, how do I resolve conflicts? So, in any disagreement or conflicts, right, it arises because of few reasons. Number one, it could be because of lack of communication or unknown, or differing priorities or views, or it could be because of uh, interpersonal issues, or sometimes it could be like organization dynamics, right? So these are some of the ways the disagreement or conflict can occur. And from my experience, some of the effective ways to solve the disagreements are through transparent communication or effective listening, or we can make like a data-driven decision making. And sometimes we have to be like very objective, meaning like keeping the emotions out and focus on the facts and outcomes. So these are some of the ways, the effective ways through which I successfully handled the conflict or disagreement. So I will give an example, specific situation and explain how I handled it. So I'll talk about a time my business partner and we had like differing views and priorities while executing one of the large scale modernization. So to set context, I joined a particular area as an engineering manager, and I observed that my business partner was extremely not happy with IT because there was a delay in starting the IT modernization. So he was literally forcing me to add more teams and start the work quickly. But the problem was on the business side, they did not have a clear strategy and no product roadmap. And there is no deeper backlog. So if I just listen to my business partner and go and start adding more teams, definitely it's going to be an overhead and will not optimally use the resources. So what I was proposing is, okay, why don't we just to focus on the foundational elements first, like a strategy and a product roadmap, and then focus on the tactical execution. But he was not listening to me because of like previous delays in the past history. He was extremely emotional and focusing on like a short-term gains rather than looking at the big picture and long term. So to solve this problem, what I have done was the first thing is, right, I listened to my business partners' priorities and concerns and pain points. I acknowledge that yes, modernization is needed in order to get additional customers into our pipeline. But to make him realize the problem in the current state, right, I asked some questions like, hey, what is our overall strategy? And have we identified developed the product roadmap? And have you identified what capabilities needs to be modernized? And do we have enough backlog? So such kind of questions, right, make him think that the gaps in the current state, but he was not fully convinced because he was new to the large scale modernization. So to convince him further, what I did was I took some of the data and artifacts from a previous initiative and then showed him how the business roadmap is critical for enabling IT to come up with IT roadmap, tech stack, and identify the right resources and start the modernization. So he slowly started understanding, and also it took an additional step of I invited him a previous business partner and let him share to him that like, how we collaboratively worked in the past and then executed a large scale modernization of doc initiatives through which we are achieving like millions and millions of dollar savings. So hearing this from his peer, he started understanding like what I am trying to convey and how to execute this modernization. So finally, Brendan, during that time, there was a time critical operational issue for which I identified a quick solution through technology. And at that time, he saw my customer driven action and the bias for action. So all these things, right, made him like double his confidence on me. So as a result of doing all these things, so he started cooperating and then started sharing his ideas and perspectives. Then together, right, we started working on formulating a unified vision for both the business and IT. And then we come up with a roadmap, prioritized and sequenced based on the needs of the business. And then I took that roadmap and then I formed the IT roadmap, identified the right skills as technology, and then started the modernization. So our relationship started in a disagreement way, but right, the way how I use my strategy to convince him, I completely turned the situation, and then we together we worked and executed a large scale modernization.